Hey guys, welcome to Basic Teen TV. We are a weekly podcast where we talk about some 90s teen TV dramas. We are deep into Dawson's Creek, season 5, and tonight we're going to be talking about episode 2. My name is Melissa.
Oi, I'm Cindy from London town, fam.
I'm Victoria from Queens.
All right, let's just jump right in. So Dawson has decided to show up in Boston like he was supposed to, but not because he really wanted to, but because he essentially got fired from that internship and is currently in an existential crisis about what he's going to do with his life.
Right. So he shows up to Boston so he can get some validation, but I don't know why he's seeking validation from Joey, because she ain't going to give it to him because she's a fucking bitch.
Right. And, one thing that I wanted to point out. So I should have written it down. It was season 2, episode 7 of Friends. The title of that episode is called The One Where Ross Finds Out. And a quick little snapshot of Ross and Rachel's beginning story is that Ross is in love with Rachel. Rachel doesn't realize it. And then Ross goes away to China and falls in love with another girl and comes back. And during that trip where Ross is in China, Rachel starts falling in love with Ross. And Ross comes back with a girlfriend, and Rachel's having a tough time dealing with it. And Monica encourages her to go on a date. Rachel goes on a blind date. She gets super wasted and leaves Dawson. Leaves Ross.
Crossover here.
I know. Leaves Ross a drunken voicemail about how she is over him. And Ross shows up at Rachel's apartment, and for whatever reason, he's like, "Can I check my voicemail?" And Rachel's like, "Yeah, sure," because she can't remember that she left that voicemail because she was completely wasted. And Ross is like, "Oh, hey, I have a voicemail from you." And Rachel freaks the fuck out, and she's like, "Don't listen to it, don't listen to it." And Ross is like, "You're over me, you're over me. When were you under me?" It's a joke in the show. It's really funny and cute. But basically, this is exactly what happens in this opening scene of season 5, episode 2. I'm really drunk, of Dawson's Creek. And I just had to point that out because it's a complete ripoff. Like, this is not a new idea written by the writers of Dawson's Creek. They ripped it off from another TV show, and they go through the same rigmarole as Ross and Rachel did. Dawson and Joey go through the same thing. Yeah, and it upset me. I took offense to it.
So when Dawson shows up in her room in the beginning of episode 2, he's like, "Can I check I got to check my voicemail." And she's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then, it was the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. She was like, "Oh, no, don't listen to that voicemail for me." And then he's like, "What? Shut the fuck up. I'm going to do it." And then listens to it. And then he was like, "What?" And then she gets all pissed. She was like, "Well, I thought that you heard it and you showed up here anyways, but you just didn't hear it at all. And now I'm going to get defensive."
Yeah, she was like, "I thought you heard it and showed up here anyway because you know me and you know what I need."
Yeah,
she thought for real.
She did the bitchy thing. And then when he was like, "What the fuck?"
I actually wouldn't have shown up here had I listened to that.
Yeah, had you listened to the message.
Then she was like, "Well, that's not on me. That's on you. Somehow you're the asshole in this situation. And I have to go drop a class and fuck you." And then Audrey just is like, "Well, let's go do a little tour of the campus. You can hang out with me." And then
Joey's getting jealous about that because she thinks that Dawson's going to hook up with Audrey. 'Cause Audrey is kind of a hoe. She's a fun hoe.
Yeah, but Audrey,
she's sleeping with someone new.
But Audrey has boundaries. She knows that Dawson's off limits.
Yeah,
she knows. She would never. And I think the whole time she's like trying to figure out what the deal is between them and like how she can maybe fix it or advise to fix it or something. Like,
well, because she even admits it to Dawson. She's like, "I'm trying my best to be friends with this girl, and she is like a tough cookie."
A tough cookie.
She's a pain in the ass.
Tough cookie is very nice way to describe a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
A fucking tight-lipped, anal retentive bitch. Like, what the can't get over what a fucking bitch.
This wouldn't be a big deal if Joey weren't the main character that we're supposed to identify with and like. You know, if she were like a side character, you'd be like, oh, Joey. But she's the main one, and we have to listen to this shit. Well, we've been listening to it for 5 years of our lives.
Just such a
I've had enough.
She's just such a sourpuss about everything. We're like, God, just chill.
I mean, it's kind of interesting. You get glimpses of Joey being a little bit softer around Audrey or with Audrey, but overall, in general, like her whole character just hasn't changed, like at all. Like she's still uptight, bitchy, cynical, jaded, and very like closed off, which makes her come off as like super, super self-centered and selfish. Like, you know, no one is ever going to get to know me except for the people who already know me. And the reason that people know me, like people like Dawson, is because I grew up with this person. You know, like otherwise, if you're new, like fuck you. No.
Yeah. And you can tell that Joey thinks that she's like the smartest. There's this dynamic that keeps happening. And this happens in maybe it happens in episode 2, where Busy Phillips's character, Audrey, she's like, Joey, you know.
Yes. I know what
God.
I knew someone was going to bring this up. I knew it. Go on.
Talking about why Pacey may want to see Joey, because Joey ran into him at the restaurant.
Right. Did we mention that?
I don't think have we even gotten to episode 2?
Yeah, we're on episode 2 right now.
Sorry, I stepped away. Had to make a cocktail. But yeah.
So just quickly, Pacey is in Boston. He's been in Boston this whole time. And the only person who knows that he's in Boston is
Jen.
And Jen, right. Jen. I don't think it's in episode 2. No, it's in episode 3. But Pacey has sworn Jen to secrecy. Like, don't tell anybody, i.e. don't tell Joey that I'm here. But so Pacey is in town. He's been here this whole time.
Yeah, he's been chopping potatoes.
Not yet. But
there's a scene where Audrey is telling Joey, because Joey couldn't imagine, I guess, why Pacey would want to talk to her or see her in Boston.
So that's episode 3.
But either way, the things that people say to
Joey, right?
You know, she's like, "Of course, he wants to see you. You're so beautiful and intelligent,
and you don't know it.
And you don't know it. But here's my ish. Joey does know it, but she acts like she doesn't know it. And that's the problem with this character. She acts like she doesn't, but really she thinks she's better than everyone else. She thinks she's smarter than everyone else. And she thinks she's more attractive than anyone else. And that's why she plays these men. Well, and Audrey kind of alludes to that. She's like, you're the girl that no one can ever get over. Yeah. Oh my God. I wanted to throw my television across the room when she said that. Like, this character doesn't need to hear this. She's one of those people that pretends so that she can have it validated externally because she's a bitch.
Yes.
But that's my problem.
Okay.
With Joey. And everyone keeps kissing her ass.
Everyone does keep kissing her ass. So Joey, pretty much this entire episode 2, Joey is just running around trying to drop this class, Professor Wilder's class, this writing class. Meanwhile, as you guys mentioned, Audrey and Dawson are just walking around campus and talking, and Audrey's just being her cool, badass chick self or whatever, and Dawson's like, you know, digging her, not in like any particular way.
No, he's just having fun.
He's having fun. Exactly. Yeah.
He's like, this chick is cool.
This chick's cool. Yeah. On the opposite side of town, Jack and Jen are again walking through the streets of Boston, and they're talking about this boy that Jen has met at the frat party from the night before, Charlie. And they run into him. They don't run into him, but they see him through the window. He's a DJ at a local radio station. which I thought was a college radio station. It could not be. It could just be the local Boston radio station. And they lock eyes, and he's like, come in here, come inside. And they have a really weird scene. It was weird to me because she puts on the headphones and sits in front of a mic and just starts talking. And he's like, the mic's on. She's like, I know. And then they just have this really awkward.
I thought she said I turned it on.
Oh, did she?
And I was like, well, he's by the control panel. So how'd she turn it on?
Like, how did she even know how to turn it on? Anyways, they have this really awkward
button right on the side of the mic
that says
turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're by the control. You could cut us off anytime you want.
Yeah, I could shut you guys off anytime I want.
You got the power.
I got the power. But they have, to me, that whole scene, because it was supposed to be live on air, was just like really awkward and weird.
Yeah, they were talking about personal things, but making it seem like
it was just a big, huge,
to
awkward flirtation the entire time. And eventually they end up back in his room or his apartment. Or
I want to say one
lives.
thing quickly about that exchange.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I was just about to play the Smiths' Girlfriend in a Coma. And I was like, please, Dawson's Creek, please play that song. It's not my favorite Smiths song, like by any means, but it would be infinitely better than anything the show has ever played the entire 5 years that I've watched it. I was like, just give me something. Give me something. Girlfriend in a Coma, that would be great. Please play it. They didn't play it.
He does end up, I mean, he does play it on the radio, but they don't play it in the show.
They don't play it on the show.
They don't play it on the show.
They played some other weird, it was supposed to be similar to a Smith song. It was supposed to be like an 80s sounding, I don't depressing sort of.
Whatever they could get the rights to that was cheaper than that song.
Yeah. But they end up in his room, and he's on a mission to like play her a song, this one particular song, and it's Dolly Parton's "I Will Always Love You," and she's like doesn't believe that he would have this album because it's I guess country wasn't a cool thing to listen to in the early 2000s. Like that's just not what college kids listen to.
I would argue that a lot of people have their niche of what they listen to, and generally they don't listen to an eclectic mix of genres and like old music. So it was supposed to be super impressive.
I think
he had a knowledge.
I think he was trying to impress her with his, the breadth of music that he listens to, because she pulls up an album called License to Ill, and she's like, I find it hard to believe that someone who has a license to ill is going to have Dolly Parton's collection.
When she said that, I was like, this bitch would shit herself if she listened to my Spotify. It's all over the map.
Mine is all over the map too. But basically he wants to play her Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You, who Dolly Parton was the first one. That's her song. And he said something about I Will Always Love You, which I really took great offense to. He says, let me pull up the quote that he says, because I was
the
like,
quote,
fuck this bitch. He says, a song later made re-popular and sucky by Whitney Houston. I was like, excuse me? What?
Objectively,
incorrect.
That's untrue.
Incorrect.
Objectively.
Yeah. False statement by Charlie. Like, I can't, I was pissed.
But like I was saying, they were trying to make his character be hipstery, subversive, and like he knows the original. Bad example, though. Bad song example, because Whitney Houston
did it better.
Did make the song better. It's very rare.
Dolly Parton
rarely does this happen.
Dolly Parton herself agrees that Whitney Houston made the song better.
Yeah.
Ugh. I was so mad.
If he had used a different song example, I would be right there with Jen, and I'd be like, I'm totes gonna just make out with you right now, regardless of your hair situation, because what you said was so hot.
Well, totes they did make out because they didn't even play the song. She just like kisses him, and
she's like, that's the hottest thing I've ever heard.
And then, of course, they have sex.
Yeah, which actually, what other scenes have we seen in this show so far where the characters wake up in bed next to one another after just boning?
Pacey and Joey.
Yeah.
After their first time.
In that hotel?
Jen and the Chris Wolf character guy who wore that choker with the shark tooth. I mean, if we've seen any character wake up the next morning after having sex, we've seen Jen multiple times. Like, this might be the second time we've seen Jen in bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen wakes up in bed with the Chris Wolf guy from season whatever, 3 or 2 or something. Yeah, in bed. I mean, he's already out of bed, but she's still in bed. So of course that they've just had sex.
Okay. I guess whenever I watch the show, I immediately erase it from my mind. It's like I do a clean swipe.
It's like your brain is like a DVR. And you're like, there's no room for that. We're going to erase the old episode to make room for the new one.
Seasons are so long, I don't have the fucking space. I literally don't have the space on my hard drive for this.
Fair enough. I get it. I understand. So there's some sort of relationship building between Charlie and Jen. Dawson is deciding whether or not to drop out of USC. I don't know which one of you mentioned, if it was Victoria, Cindy, but going to Boston to find answers from Joey about whether to stay or go. Pacey, do we want to talk about Dawson and Joey?
I just want to talk about how lame it is that, I mean, he's considering like leaving LA altogether.
Yeah.
Because his internship and because his friends are and like I kind of get the friend stuff.
I understand the homesickness part, but
everyone has it.
Everyone has it.
If you go to school out of the state you grew up in.
But it's not like he's seen Jen and Jack. Like, they have not shown that he's had spent any time with Jen and Jack. Like, we're led to believe that it's basically like Joey is his reason.
Yeah, and it's not a good reason because she's a pain in the ass. And she's just like, she pawned him off on her roommate and then got jealous about it. And I'm like, but you did that. You set up that scenario. You put them together for the day because you were too busy. And then got jealous that they did the thing
that they spent time.
They did the thing that you thought that they were going to do. And
Dawson sort of hints at the fact that he's not happy there, but he doesn't. This is before he admits that he got fired from his internship. He says to Audrey, because she's from LA originally, and she's like, "So what do you think of the place?" And he's like, "It's okay." And then he starts talking about school, and he's like, hang on, I wrote it down. Where did I put it? He said he knew film school would be full of posers, but I didn't know it would be this bad. And I was like, Dawson, you're the poser. You showed up to a film set in flip-flops, open-toed sandals, because you thought this is what people in LA do. Who's the poser? Goddamn asshole.
Yeah, he's no better or worse than the other like freshmen that just moved there from Ohio.
Everyone's clueless.
Minnesota or whatever, like just showed up in LA to like do the LA thing without actually knowing what that is.
Dawson's like, I'm going to come here without my car. I think that seems like a great idea because you don't need a car in LA. So I'm going to leave my car at home. I'm going to bring my best sandals. This is going to be great.
My best sandals. My best man sandals. And not a single pair of socks because no one in LA wears socks.
No, this is going to be great.
I feel like Dawson's idealistic, romantic part of his personality is what's getting him into fucking trouble. Like, he just needs to be more realistic. I don't remember this being romantic and idealistic in college. Like, I mean,
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any expectations, really.
Yeah, I think the same. Like, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't imagine some grand, like, vision of college where my life was just going to immediately take off or something. Like, that's how he entered USC in LA.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to be a famous director in 6 months.
Right. Yeah, like that. and like it's getting him into these situations where he ends up looking like an asshole.
At least he got a haircut, though. I mean, that's
True.
one step in the right direction.
True. Yes.
He's just he can't get out of his own way. He's too smug for his own good, and he just thought a lot of himself when he was in Cape Side, aka Dawson's Creek, because he's like, oh, this town is named after me, so I must be the king of the world.
I'm the shit.
Yeah. I'm the fucking jam. And he was like that the whole time. He was like, my problems are the worst problems. My problems are the biggest problems. And then he moves to LA and everyone's like, who are you? Why do we care about you? And he's like, I'm Dawson. They're like, who?
I'm Dawson.
What? Fuck you. Get off my set and wear closed-toed shoes next time.
His shirt was kind of cool, though.
His shirt was cool.
Yeah.
It was just like a regular old like baby blue button down.
It was like a white, flowy, sort of beachy.
Yeah,
and
like
he
a
had
Tommy Bahama.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool.
the
And he had
linen.
the top like but you could see his little chest hairs.
He was
growing.
dressed as if he was like a bartender at like a tiki cabana beach bar. Not
An intern
Going to
on
work.
a movie set.
not going to work at a movie studio.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So as we stated, because we haven't really talked about Pacey a lot, but Pacey has, like I said, been in Boston this entire time. Apparently, he's been keeping his, the fact that he's in town a secret from everyone. The only one who knows is Jen. But Pacey also has a girlfriend. He's met someone. This girl, her real name is Jennifer Morrison. Her name in the show is Melanie Shea Thompson. They give her a full first, middle, and last name.
Because she's rich.
Yeah, because she's rich.
She's rich, yeah.
Rich
Jennifer
people have a
Morrison.
lot of names.
Jennifer Morrison. Her face is very familiar. Again, just like a B, C actress who's just done I think she's done a lot of Hallmark movies, a lot of like Lifetime romantical movies and stuff.
Romantical.
Yeah. Romantical. You've never heard romantical?
Well, usually people say like romantic.
No, romantical.
Romantical, made famous by the Little Rascals. The little girl from Little Rascals would say things are romantical.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't make that word up myself. I've heard it from other sources.
It's slang.
It's
But it's a widely used slang.
Yeah.
Romantical. If you're trying to be cute and say romantic.
Yeah, romantical.
Got it.
It's not. I just want to make sure that you know that we're not being weird.
Or stupid.
Yeah,
No, we're not being
okay,
stupid.
stupid. Yeah.
It's a thing.
I said romantical on purpose because it is a word that's out there in the universe. Anyways, so Pacey has this new girlfriend. Her name is Melanie Shea Thompson. She's apparently a law student. Doug, I was like, oh, Doug is in Boston too. Did everyone just move to Boston? But Doug is just visiting, I guess. And he's visiting to like give Pacey a hard time.
Yeah, he
made the trip.
Yeah, he literally took the train up to
Yep.
Boston just to rip Pacey a new one and then get back on the train and go back to Timbuktu.
Yeah,
Otherwise known as Cape Side, Timbuktu.
But yeah,
He spent all of 3 minutes. It was a 3-minute conversation. So he took the train up for the 3-minute convo where he's like, what are you doing? Are you going to get a job?
What are you doing with your life, Pacey?
yeah. And he's like, what's your life? You're just a fucking deck squab. And he's like, I'm a deckhand and I just travel the Caribbean and I'm important.
Actually, I wish I had a sibling that was a loser. I would make the train ride for that 3-minute conversation. That
Just to
seems
be
like fun.
Let me show you why you're a fucking loser.
Yeah. Plan on getting a job? Here's a business card. I know this person. Go check it out. Okay, bye. I'm going to get the next train.
Yeah, he's like, if
Back
I
to
run, I
Timbuktu.
can get the same train
Yeah.
back to Timbuktu.
So Pacey, I don't know. I mean, Pacey just is not really into getting this job. Like it's basically a job lead for Pacey that Doug has just handed to him. But Pacey's like, I don't need a job. I'll find another deckhand job in no time. Like, I'm just taking a break right now. I'm just taking it easy. I just went on this long trip. Like, leave me the fuck alone, Doug.
Yeah, he's like, I went on this long trip to the Caribbean. They keep saying the Caribbean. Isn't it Caribbean?
I think you could say it either way.
I think you could say it either way.
They're hell bent on saying Caribbean.
There's
Though.
there's been debates.
Chosen a way to say it and sticking with it.
They chose their lane. They're definitely staying in it.
But I think Pacey's issue is because this is a restaurant job. And Pacey thinks that he's too good for that because now he has served as a deckhand on a yacht in the Caribbean, and so he thinks that this is his career now, that he is now going to be like a yacht person.
How do you move up in the world of deckhands, though?
I don't know.
I mean,
maybe you become a captain at some point.
Yeah.
Because if you're
a ship manager.
Yeah, because if you're a fancy yacht owner, it doesn't mean that you're the one driving the yacht. You hire people to drive it for you.
Yeah, that's true. You could be an entrepreneur and do your own.
Yeah, you could have like a whole like yacht crew staffing business.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess that's his goal.
Maybe to be a captain. Yeah.
That's what he thinks. He's now in the yachting crew for rich people industry. That's what he thinks, and he's going to move his way up in that. And Doug is like, but you could go to this restaurant and work at this restaurant, and you could just have a fucking job, and you don't have to stay there forever, but you could make some money.
And actually, I think Pacey would do very well in the hospitality industry. They're his people.
Well,
they're drinking people.
Deckhand is hospitality. What he was doing on that yacht is hospitality.
He's very against it, but I'm saying he would fit in the world of like kitchen folk very well.
All right.
Especially in that time period, it's like dude heavy, drinking heavy, ball busting heavy.
I don't think it's changed much.
I don't think so either. But the transition, like it would make sense for him. He would fit right into that world.
Right. Well, so cut to him and this girlfriend of his out to lunch at some fancy place.
It was the most basic of restaurants I've ever seen. He was very uncomfortable being there. He's like, this is too expensive for me. This is too fancy for me. And the chairs were like very simple wooden stool chairs. And they had like a little wine rack in the back, but the wine rack only had like 3 shelves. I mean, it couldn't have been more simplistic, but he was so upset with how fancy it was.
It was like a TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
He was like
an upscale TGI Fridays.
Way out of my league.
He's like, I hate this.
Well, despite all of those things, it was supposed to be a fancy restaurant. And his girlfriend takes the check out of his hand and slides in her credit card. And she's very like upfront about where she comes from. And she's like, this is what my, early 20s are for. To, I have an allowance and a credit card and a trust fund. And, isn't this what my 20s are for, to pay for my slacker boyfriend? And it emasculates Pacey.
Well, it would piss me off too if my boyfriend said that to me.
Yeah, she could have done that. She could have done that better. She could have been like, I'll pay for this, and
you get it next time.
Yeah, or like, down the line sometime
she actually did say that. She's like, once you're, I don't know what she thinks career path Pacey is on, but she's like, you'll get there, and when you do, then you can take me to some fancy restaurant. But the way that
to use the word slacker, that I was just unemployed 7 months ago, and if my boyfriend had been like, don't worry about it, babe, I got you, like, what else am I here for but besides to cover for my slacker girlfriend, I'd be like, what in the fuck is wrong with you?
But also, to be fair, you were looking for work, and Pacey's not. Pacey was not. He just wanted to like.
That's true.
And she knew that. She was like, this, because even though Doug took the train up from Timbuktu to give him what for, she had probably already given. She'd be like, "Are you going to get a job? We're back in Boston now. There's lots of places to work."
I have a feeling she's not going to be in the show very long.
Oh, no.
I don't know if we're ever going to see her face again.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I don't think we'll see her again.
She's an extra girlfriend.
Yeah, an extra girlfriend. So because this emasculates Pacey so much, he decides to go to this restaurant to see what it's about. He's still, you know, coming into it with the attitude of like, I just came here because my brother told me to. So I'm, you know, just here so I don't make my brother look like an asshole. But I really don't want this job. Like I'm just here just to make my brother happy or whatever. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then what? Oh, and then he befriends one of the waitresses. Her name in the show is Karen. And I can't remember exactly what their exchange was, but it kind of seems to encourage him to just go ahead and take the job. And then we're getting close to the end of the show, to this episode. Dawson doesn't want to go back to LA, and like him and Joey just talk in circles like they normally do. Thing. Like just talking in metaphors and things that don't make sense.
And
like,
also just their entire story has been a never-ending cycle of the same shit over and over and over again.
True.
Just
Yeah.
decide something. Just fucking decide and do it. As a viewer, I don't want to see this anymore.
I think back in the day, people were so invested in Dawson and Joey that it was okay for them to keep going in this like what we now see as an annoying cycle, because they were the two driving the show. Everyone else, no matter the fact that they were in the opening credits, like it doesn't matter that Michelle Williams and the guy who plays Jack, whose name I don't know, and you know, whoever else ends up in the main title theme, like everyone else is still a secondary character. No one else is main. It's Dawson and Joey, and they're the ones driving the show. And I can only like imagine, you know, like thinking back then, like probably even I was so invested in Dawson and Joey and Pacey. Like it's still that triangle.
Yeah, and they actually hinted a little at something with like a rekindling with Joey and Pacey, and I was like, oh my God, how many times are we going to see the same thing? But I'm wondering, in terms of ratings, how was the show doing in season 5 versus season 2?
I mean, none of us have, oh my gosh, looked up that information.
I'm just curious because the writers were really leaning into this cycle because it worked well, probably for the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, was it still working? I never watched the show, obviously.
Working enough for them to get through a whole season 5 and still be on for
It's
another
exhausting.
Season. Yeah, I agree.
And it's just nothing new. Like this season, these episodes from season 5 are exactly, besides the haircuts and the cell phones.
And the flip phones. Still keep calling it flip phones.
What? Are you okay? Did you have a stroke earlier or something?
Say
flip phone.
I can't say flip phones. I keep calling them flip phones.
I mean, you said back in the day, you used to say the word. Were you always calling them flip phone? Flip phone.
No, I was able to say them in a normally. Anyways.
How you turn? You only had 2.5 glasses of wine.
I didn't have a lot to eat today.
What do you mean? We both have bowls.
Basically just this.
Her don't drink every night like we do.
I don't drink every night. Wait. Do you drink every night?
No. What? No.
All right. I think I'm also tired and just not having a lot to eat today. And then, yeah, I mean, it is kind of strange that, I don't know, that wine hit me.
You need a saltina.
That wine hit me.
Saltina. Salina. You need a saltina now.
Saltena.
Saltena.
Selena Gomez.
Saltena. I know. I told you. I don't.
What is happening right now? Oh my God. Don't spit on the couch. Cindy's about to just fucking vom all over the couch because she can't do it in your shoe. Do it on Melissa's bed.
No, I just had to swallow it.
Jesus Christ. Guys. Get it together.
No. Here's what happened. I took a drink of vodka soda, and Melissa was like, okay, anyway, here's what's going on season 3, season 5. And I looked over at Victoria, Victoria was like, and I had liquid in my mouth. I was like, oh my God. Because I was also processing what you were trying to say. And I hadn't gotten over flip-flops yet. It was just too... I just couldn't swallow the liquid in my mouth.
All right.
I think we need a break.
So no, really? No, come on, guys.
All right. Okay.
Let's just power through it.
No, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I've swallowed my liquid. But you can't be fucking up like that because you're going to make me choke.
Okay, sorry.
Season 3, episode 1, 5, season 2.
This premiere of Basic Teen TV is a real big shit show, mostly because of me. I apologize.
You seem fine. Well, I mean, besides the
flip flones and the season 3,
You're
season
fine
5.
except for your inability to use the English language. You're fine.
totally fine. I mean, you're still driving this whole thing. You're still keeping us on task.
Would you like a glass of water?
Oh, maybe some water. Oh, wait, I have some right here. I just have it.
Where? I don't see it. Oh, there's a giant bottle there on the floor. Drink that.
Victoria's toe is out. That kind of is a shit show.
My toe is purple.
Victoria's big toe is out.
My toe
and
is purple because it's.
She's got holes in her socks because she's wearing out old socks to make space for brand new ones.
Before she opens up the new socks.
So
guess what, guys? I do the same thing with my bras. This bra I'm wearing is also maybe
you waiting for your boobie to pop through? You waiting for your nipple to pop through?
It's back here that the holes.
You know, when her nipple pops through the front is when she knows she needs a new bra.
It's
time now.
And a whole fucking titty pops out. Then I'm like, it's time for.
Oh, I guess it's time to like put on my new ones.
And she does it with her underwear. When her vagina pokes out of her vagina. I mean,
what?
What is that? Her underwear. She's like, time for some new undies.
When her vagina pokes out of her vagina.
You have two vaginas?
Meta vagina.
What? There's a vagina in my vagina. We have never gone off the rails like this before.
I mean, we're deep off the rails. I'm sweating.
All right, maybe we should take a break. Let's take a break. And we're back. Okay, I think we've composed ourselves enough so we can finally end this episode. So that was episode 2 of Dawson's Creek. We'll be back next week for episode 3. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, my name is Melissa.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Cindy.
And we're Basic Teen TV. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I don't know what they're doing. Sorry, everybody. You trying to hit a Mariah Carey?
Yeah.